Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy, and we'll commence in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. At the 2 minute mark, the health of the live stream usually corrects itself, and it increases our chances of a smooth live stream. Thank you for your presence and your patience, and hopefully participation. In about 20 seconds, I'll begin this live stream. Again, thank you for your patience. Once again, welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy. This evening, we're here to talk about the fabric of life. We are talking about the fabric of life from the perspective that we are currently living in a new paradigm or within a new world order. Before we begin, I like to submit my personal plugs. The first thing is that I am a tarot reader. So if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me at my email. My email is below this live stream. It's below every live stream I make, as well as any video I make. But for the record, my email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. A full personal tarot reading lasts upwards of 45 minutes and costs $50 US. All you have to do is send me an email and say, hey, this is whoever you are. I'm interested in a full personal tarot reading. Tell me what time you'd like to commence with the tarot reading, the date, and also include your contact information. That is either your phone number or your Skype if you want your reading by Skype. Also give me your time zone or the state that you live in so that I can synchronize our times. In response, I'm going to send you an email or invoice through your email from PayPal. You make your payment and you confirm your appointment with me. Hello, Star. How you doing? What's going on with you? Thank you. I really greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Star. A Star Lourdes Tarot. Thank you. Um, Next thing is to please, if you enjoy my content, please like it. I think that means click the thumb. Share my channel with others. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. Once you subscribe to my channel, I need you to then go click the bell. It's a bell and a thumb. Click the bell. And the bell, if you click the bell, you are supposed to be notified whenever I go live and or upload a video. We'll see how things go. What else is there to talk about? Um, I don't know. I think I covered it all. Please like, share, and if you haven't already subscribed, oh yeah. If you're interested in supporting me, my channel, and my work, and if you'd like to see additional growth here, you can always donate to my channel. You can donate to my channel using Cash App. My Cash App name is $Can Angels Fly Tarot. It's at the beginning of this video, at the below on the screen. It's also below this live stream and every video I make. If you can't Cash App because you don't have Cash App, then you can always email me and say, send me an invoice, girlfriend, for whatever amount you state, and I will do that. Did I say PayPal? I don't know. Sometimes I get lost. Anywho, let me read some of this chat, and then we're going to move forward. It says, I have recommended you on my channel. Thank you. That is so generous of you, Star Tarot. Thank you so much. And you love the way I read. Thank you. I wish I could get more readings. I really do. I'm starting to get stale, or I don't know, like a person don't move, their joints get stiff. I'm starting to get stiff. At one time, it was flowing 3-4 people a day. I was like, I was in it. It's like I couldn't come. I wasn't coming out the spirit, so I was just flowing. It's to slow it down to like the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz. I'm rusty. Okay. Again, what is the topic tonight about? It is about the fabric of life. Why are we covering this subject, talking about the fabric of life? It is because we are currently living in a new paradigm or a new world order. I want to talk a little bit about the new world order. And so in order for us to understand how life will progress from here on out, we need to understand, how do I say? Let me try to restate that. The way life will unfold for humanity, or anybody that becomes a part of humanity from here on out, life experiences will be determined by the new world order, and or what I call it, new paradigm living. And it is because the new world order and or using synonymously new paradigm living is in contradiction to the fabric of life. I'll try to make that make sense. The new world order. Really, what is the new world order? The new world order is the revising or reconstruction of our current social constructs. Yeah, all the rules, all the laws, all the regulations, all the departments are being revised. And so humanity, the people that are in humanity at this time and in the future, are under new rules, new laws, new policies, new regulations. And all departments will be adjusted in order to, in accordance with those changes. New world order. New world order. New education system and structure. New political platforms or agendas. All of these things, new laws, new rules will govern us. New, in the medical field, new HMOs and different things like that will govern us. This is all the new world order. And the power of the people also is changing in this new world order. And so, as a result of those changes, humanity has this thing, what I'm calling new paradigm living, a new way to live. Just so we're clear and on the same page. Now, what I want to do is I want to go back for people that just came in the room so you can see all the illustrations that I have. Just take a moment to ponder this particular illustration, please. You remember when you used to do a sorry time for the signs, right? It's all about time, I think. Goody. Hi, Jordan. I see you. So I just wanted y'all to ponder, you know, my opening, what do you call this thing? Thumbnail, you know? New paradigm living, NPL, the fabric of life. Boom. All right. What? Let's talk about the fabric of life. First of all, let's see. I'm going to try to read what I wrote. I've been working on I got a couple of projects that I've been working on for the last month or two, and I just haven't been doing them. And I haven't been doing them for my egotistical reasons. And my egotistical reasons is that I know, if nobody else knows, that I have a relationship with the invisible one, many invisible ones. And so I get to speak with them, or they communicate with me. And so some of the messages I get, um, I assume are not widely known. I'll say it like that. And so when I run into channels that, after I've done my work, cover the same topics, it makes me very angry. As mentioned, it's my ego. I admit it. And so all I do is I have the meetings with the various entities, and they teach me and inform me, and I take my notes, and then I do my research to put it in layman's terms, and I leave them sitting there. I got several projects again. I just finished with one, and that was, what was that one? Oh, the current astrological energy. You're talking about Venus and Pisces. That's broadly known. However, the interpretation is different. And so I procrastinate because of that. So I'm going to let y'all know that I'm human. I'm human and arrogant and egotistical. Hi, Just a Queen. How are you? This is a good topic. Well, I hope so. I hope so. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to begin to read my notes. Again, I've been working on these projects for weeks. So when I haven't just freshly done it and come live, it usually doesn't go too well. And this is one of the projects I don't think I finished. Again, I get very irritated. And so I find myself in that irritated place. But it's time for me to go ahead and record and to share, because I got to make room for other stuff. Yep, happy Aquarius season, everybody. I'm an Aquarius too. Birthday in 5 days. 5 days, I'll be 50 years old. 50 years old, y'all. A half a century. Never saw it coming. Never saw it coming. But I'm here. So, discussion topic, the fabric of life. The fabric of life, excuse me, and I'm drunk all my stuff. The fabric of life is consistent, logical, and absolute. Its consciousness is composed of 12 known fibers. 12 known fibers. So what am I saying? In case my fancy notes don't make sense. I'm saying that there's certain components life is made up of. And those components, those various fibers, are consistent. They never change. They're absolute, and they're absolutely logical. And these fibers that create life are well known to us all. Yeah, we know what they are. And you're Aquarius too? Oh, happy belated birthday. You just had a birthday, January 26th. Happy belated birthday, fellow Aquarian. And so these fibers are the 12 universal laws. Where they at? Over here. Okay, that way. Those 12 universal laws. And so we're going to talk about the 12 universal laws, which are also the fibers that create life and sustain the structure of our life. You happy Aquarius season. Thank you. So, I'm going to read because I get thrown off. These fibers are the 12 universal laws, aka the spiritual laws. Hear me. The spiritual laws that govern our reality. The universal laws are the consciousness and specific sets of information of this living being called life. Did you know? Are you aware that life is alive itself? That life is a living being. And this living being called life has a set of consciousness. Meaning it's not brain dead. It's not stupid. It knows some stuff. It is due to its consciousness. And its consciousness are these 12 universal laws that we know. So let's talk about them. And you on the 15th, Jordan, of February? Happy early birthday. I didn't know that. I thought I did, but then I thought it was something else. I get so confused. Old people problems. Don't pay me no mind. So, the 12 universal laws are listed over here. Let's talk about them. The first one is the law of divine oneness. Any and all aspects, elements, components, materials, members, details, factors, principles are interconnected. What do I mean? I mean everything that you can comprehend, everything you can't comprehend is related to the next thing, one way or another. We're all interconnected. Every aspect in our universe, no matter how small or large, impacts each other at some point in existence. I wrote down here 3 examples. I'm going to try to offer these 3 examples. Hopefully it makes sense. Is on a microscopic level, we have atoms. And atoms is made of tiny particles called protons, neutrons, and electrons. A person wouldn't believe the level of education I got. They really wouldn't. I don't even believe it. Anywho, now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the law of divine oneness. And the claim is, what has been contended, is that everything is related to everything. So I'm giving you an example. I start with the example talking about an atom. Inside of an atom are protons, neutrons, and electrons. All them little fellas and ladies, whatever they are. But guess what? They are related to the human being in this way. Hi, Cherry Whiskey. Thought about you today. Thought you right on up. How are you? 150-pound human body has 7 billion times 3 atoms. They are interdependent. What are interdependent or interconnected? Those various atoms, those neutrons, protons, electrons make the atom, and all of that together make the human being. At least 7 billion times 3 of them little mother suckers make up 154-pound human being. On a mundane level, which is, I believe, observable by my notes, is that a single person historically occupied a political and social seat of power, imposes policies of monopolized political control. It's been weak, y'all. I'm going to make it make sense. Unchecked advancements in technology and culture and social supremacy. Let me make it make sense. An atom is made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. 7 billion times 3 of those small little microscopic suckers make a 154-pound human being. That human being takes a seat of power, a political seat of power. And that person in that political seat of power endorses, number one, monopolizes their political seat and endorses any advancements in technology that are destructive, and also executes cultural and social supremacy. See, all of that goes together. All of that is an example of the law of divine oneness. So we can see. Moving forward, y'all. We try to move forward quickly. Oh, I wasn't done. So I'm still talking about the law of divine oneness. Now we got this person. They got 154 pounds, got 7 billion times 3 atoms in their body to make them. They get a seat of power. They misusing all their power. It says 100 years after that person's lifetime, now there's a bunch of nuclear waste and other relative byproducts that poison the air, waters, and land. That's coming just from the microscopic level. Now let's take this same divine law of oneness to the macrocosmo, macroscope. I don't even think this makes sense. But okay, y'all ride with me. We getting bigger and bigger with this. This is the law of divine oneness. So, the atmosphere is infused with the pollutions caused by the misuse of technology on Earth. By who? That person who took the seat of political power that weighed 154 pounds, made up of 7 billion times 3 atoms, and the atoms are made up of what? Neutrons, protons, and electrons. So now, here we go. The atmosphere is infused with pollutions caused by the misuse of technology on Earth, after which an outward ripple effect is activated, affecting the troposphere, the stratosphere, the masosphere, and the thermosphere. And all of that ends up doing what? Reconfiguration on the micro level ultimately leads to the reconfiguration once again on the macro level. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Big hugs to you. Okay. I'm doing okay. Okay. Y'all catching up. Okay. All right. So hopefully y'all understood the examples I've offered for the law of divine oneness. I offer such an extensive and detailed example in order to show divine oneness, all the way from the microscopic to the microcosmic. Okay, on to the next. The next thing is okay, I ain't gonna do that yet. Next law, because we're talking about what? We're talking about the fabric of life. We're learning about the fabric of life. The fabric of life is woven of 12 fibers. And the 12 fibers we know very well. They are the 12 universal laws. We just did one, the law of divine oneness. The next is the law of vibration. The law of vibration refers to the various energy frequencies that exist in each and every aspect within the universe, known and unknown. Every aspect, everything that you can comprehend and everything that you cannot comprehend has its own unique vibration. Not only does each of these things we can comprehend or cannot comprehend have their own vibration or frequency, our relationship with each other, each of these things that exist that we can comprehend or cannot comprehend, also vibrate and have a frequency as a result of what? Being interconnected or bouncing off one another. Let me offer you some examples relative to this fiber, which is the law of vibration. The range of frequencies that can be heard are between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. You can Google all this. The range of frequency that can be seen, which is the visual spectrum, is between 380 to 740 nanometers, which corresponds to a band in the velocity of 430 to 770 tetrahertz. Let's see. I should have put that here. Now, still talking about the law of vibration so that we can get an understanding about these various fibers that create life. They're consistent, they don't change, they're absolute, and they're logical. So, let's see. It's been weeks since I read this, so I'm just going to read. Might not make sense. I'll try to make it make sense along the way. Talking about sound frequency, the things you can hear. Sound frequency is categorized in seven different frequency bands. It's the sub-bass, it's the bass, it's low mile range, it's mile range, it's upper mile range, it's presence, and then there's brilliance. Audio frequency, that's the audio frequency, okay. Let's talk about molecular vibration. I know none of this scientific stuff probably makes sense. Just ride the wave with me, if you will. I'm going somewhere. This is all a part of New Paradigm Living. And right now, we're talking about the fabric of life. Molecular vibration is 10 raised to the power of 13 hertz to about 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz. Okay, still talking about vibration, the different vibrations that we're conscious of. The vibration of a frequency is a spirit. Did you know that? I'll say that again. The vibration of a frequency is a spirit or mood or state of what? Consciousness. You know, depending on what you hear, affects how you feel and things like that. Okay. Let's see. The vibration of a frequency affects ripples into relative systems. What am I saying? Remember, there are many aspects. There are elements, components, materials, members, details, factors, principles. Whether you can see it or you can comprehend it or not comprehend it. It's all interconnected. Each of us have our own vibration or frequency on the spectrum, whether we can comprehend it or not. And each of those components have a ripple effect, which plays back into what? The law of divineness. My vibration and frequency ripples out into the world, and eventually it touches you. And the same goes for you and any other individual that creates humanity or any other aspect of our universe. So, going on. Let's just see what I got here. It says a human archetypical design of the creator, the utopia, high vibration. What am I saying here in my notes? I'm saying that whoever created us, not going to pretend like I know who created us or what created us. However, the creator is a master builder. And when it created humanity, when it created our cosmos and all aspects of it, it created a utopia, a perfect, in sync, logical, rational, and absolute system. We've covered the law of divine oneness as well as the law of vibration. I'm not doing good. Not doing good. So, we know we're still on the law of vibration because I got more notes. Just ride away with me if you will. And so it goes on. Let me go back. It says a human archetypical design of the creator is the utopia. And the utopia renders the highest vibration, the absolute, the perfect, perfection. It says, or frequency is equivalent to one's soul being light as a feather. What do I mean when I read my notes? What I'm suggesting is that our creator created something, this whole system, I'm talking about the cosmos, so intricately and so logically that its overall vibration is a utopia. And if we could live in relationship or harmony with these 12 universal laws, each component, including us, each individual in humanity, heart will be light as a feather. You know about that light as a feather, right? Okay. So, and I continue to read, still talking about the law of vibration. It says, it is a state of peace, contentment, positivity, and openness. Let me offer you some examples relative to the law of vibration. We're going to see how this is going to go. The cause of fear. The effect is to worry. We're talking about the law of vibration. If one's vibration, we can say, is disturbed or falls short of the utopia, one of the possible reasons or causes is fear. And the effect of fear is to worry. The result is emotional and energetic imbalances that leads one's soul vibration to slow down and to become heavy, dense, negative, and dark. This is the descent into hell. On a macro level, a macrocosmic level effect, we can look at it as a black hole. A black hole is like antimatter, and it is crushing, constricting, destructive energy. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the law of vibration falling away from its utopia state. It can do so in different ways. One mundane way is to be in a state of fear. Fear contracts and it causes imbalances, and it leads the soul itself to vibrate very slow, becoming heavy, negative, dense, and dark. A black hole on a microcosmic level is an example of when energy begins to slow down. The vibration begins to slow down. And when it gets so heavy and so dark, it becomes antimatter, all-consuming, and constructing. Y'all know what I'm saying. Destructive energy. Moving on, because I'm trying to go somewhere with this. I don't know if I'm going to get there. Y'all just ride away with me. I greatly appreciate your presence and your participation. The next is number 3, the law of attraction. The law of attraction suggests that all motion, action, animation is divinely inspired, and one must be in motion for an appointed time. Everything is in constant flux. So, once you divinely inspired to move, you're going to keep it moving. And that's all aspects that one can comprehend or cannot comprehend. Why? Because it plays back into the law of oneness. What are we talking about? We're talking about the 12 fibers that create this living being that we are involved with called life. The laws, all 12 laws, are illogical, they are absolute, and they are consistent. They do not change. Since life was created by whatever created life, these have always been the laws. And we can be assured that these are the laws because these are the fibers that create the life. I go on. It says, therefore, change or transformation is always possible. One must stay on top of desired goals, energy frequency, and set of mind. Why is that important? Well, we talked about the law of vibration, number 1. We also talked about the law of oneness and the ripple effect. So if in the whole system, in the whole cosmos, in the whole life, there is the negative, slow, dark energy that exists, and energy is constantly moving, that means at any given time that negative energy can be transmitted from one atom to the next. We must always stay on top of our desired energetic goal. I know y'all have heard that before. Staying positive, basically. Okay, the next one, still talking about the fiber of life. We're going to number 4, the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence suggests that on all levels of reality, there are prominent repeating patterns And there are repeated patterns. I think I wrote that twice. And prominent patterns appear on the microscopic as well as macro level, and all ranges in between. Let me stop, because I think I failed to say that, of course, I Googled the information that I needed. I, of course, cheated. It's easy. Google it, and Google gives you the answers. So a lot of this information that I'm sharing, you can Google. The information that I'm reading primarily is Google, with me infused in the middle of it. Why? Because I need a typical or common way of explaining the information that I get. And so I use Google. So anyway, what was I just talking about? The law of correspondence. And the law of correspondence suggests that, patterns repeat themselves, and so they're prominent patterns. And one of the patterns that people talk a lot about is the spiral. They talk about how you can find a spiral in nature. You can find a spiral anywhere. They talk about what is it called? Fibonacci sequence or something. They talking about pi at 3.14 or whatever it is. Da 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 da. So these are prominent patterns that repeat, no matter if you're looking at life on a micro level or if you're looking at life on a macro level. And so the examples I gave for these repeating prominent patterns are the spiral, seasons, the rotation of the planetary bodies, and on a mundane level, very mundane level, generation after generation. Or how about the human condition? What about human nature, instinct, impulses, urges, physical requisites of living organisms, like having to have nourishment and things like that. Repeating patterns. We know it's going to happen. We know it's going to be present. Let me see what I have written here. I've written here, I don't know what it means, NPL, which is New Paradigm Living Philosophy. It's a branch of knowledge. The branch of knowledge is sociology. Has learned to take advantage of the people. Because okay, I know what I was doing. What I was writing here is I was beginning to go into the new paradigm living. And so since I started talking about it, I guess I'll go in a little more detail to the law of correspondence relative to new paradigm living. Remember, the law of correspondence is one of those fibers that create life. That consciousness is absolute, it's perfect, it's logical. It ain't going to change. It was in the beginning and it will always be. But with the new paradigm living is ushering people to do, edging people on to do, is to have a new philosophy. And the philosophy relative to the law of correspondence is associated with the branch of sociology. And sociology is the study of people. And so what have the people that are in power learned about people, about human beings? Well, whatever they learned and they put it under the category of sociology. Said, we learned this about y'all because y'all under the human condition. And whatever it is that they learn, it says whatever has been learned, they take advantage of it. They use that information to take advantage of you, to take advantage of humans, to take advantage of humanity. And that is a part of the new paradigm living. What am I saying? Let me try to make it made clear. That the branch of knowledge that exists is sociology. And it's the study of society, of people, and their interaction. And what those researchers found is that, people, humans work on a pattern. They got a pattern. We know they're going to have certain behaviors, certain emotional responses to circumstances, situation, etc. And since we know this, we're going to use that against them to help them do what we want them to do when we want them to do it. So, how I say it? The law of correspondence. See, I'm going to jump the gun. I'm going to stop. And I'm going to keep it moving because I'm going to mess up. So, let's ride this way. Hopefully, I remember to come back to it. The next one is the law of cause and effect. I'm going to try to read quickly so we can go a little faster. You said in 2023, Pluto is moving into Aquarius. Bring in the full or blown age of Aquarius. Definitely. That's a little spooky there to me. Change, a powerful change to humanity. Hopefully it's for the better. Hope we can do better. Okay, number 5, the law of cause and effect. This is one that you, most of us know. It says, due to the works, deeds, processes, etc., of any component in our universe, results in unavoidable effects. I'll read that again because I read so terrible. Due to the works, deeds, processes, etc., of any component in our universe, results in unavoidable effects. In short, or E.G. The result of one's actions, the result or follow up is necessary, mandatory, indispensable, I don't know what this is. Impreventable? I don't know. I'm making it word. Or irremissible. A part of the absolute and logical system or process. What am I saying here? About the law of cause and effect. Because certain actions have been taken, there are, we can say, due to the perfection, the absoluteness, and the logic of the law of cause and effect, if one does any action in particular, there is a particular sequence of events that has to occur. We know that now. I don't think we knew it in the past. And so that is how can I say, because I'm getting lost. Understand that the fabric of life is perfect. It is absolute. It is consistent. It will not change. If you perform certain acts, there will be an effect. Bottom line. An example is if one is born, then they will have life, and then they will die. It is absolute cause and effect. So, the next universal law is number 6. It's the law of compensation. The law of compensation is restatement of the law. Restatement of the law is sowing and reaping. It says that you will always be compensated for your efforts and for your contribution, whatever it is. However, my handwriting still hasn't gotten it better. How long I've been doing this little stuff here? It didn't matter when it was just me doing me, but I ain't reading my writing still. Okay, law of compensation. It says that you will always be compensated for your efforts and for your contribution, whatever it is, however much, however little, and however unwarranted. Yeah. Remember, these are not my words. I Googled them. I blend my words with their words to make it happen. Hopefully so that it be comprehensible. I think that's a word. Comprehensible. Not comprehensible. Try to use big words I can't even speak. Okay. I guess you will be compensated for your actions. Law of compensation. You will be compensated for your actions. I don't want to jump the gun. Let me go through. An example, I'm using a biblical reference. It says, do not cast your pearls among swine. You will not. I'm going to leave it alone. I just used that biblical reference. Let's see. Another quote that is relative to the law of compensation is, fair exchange ain't no robbery. Let's see. The process of breathing, which is intaking of oxygen, then you exhale carbon monoxide. The trees absorb the carbon monoxide, I believe, and it processes the carbon monoxide and dispenses back out oxygen. This is a very mundane example of the law of compensation. Let's see. Let's see. The next thing is number 7, the law of attraction. The law of attraction, defined by Wikipedia, is the belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into a person's life. The law of attraction.com says, or the ability to attract what one focuses their energy on. Here I say, at Can Angels Fly Tarot, an example of the law of attraction is like the twin flame union. It's where opposites attract due to their differences. The necessary blending of opposite energies, like masculine and feminine, dark and light, coming together and blending of opposing energies is necessary in order to create a full awareness of a central theme or state of consciousness. What do I contend? Because I'm always going against the tried and true. When it comes to the law of attraction, I personally have come to believe that the law of attraction occurs with like opposites, just like with a magnet. And the reason it happens is because one unit has a set of information. That information in itself is whole. However, there is another relative and opposing set of information that is held by another party. And it's about the same thing. It's about the same thing, same subject matter, just like masculine and femininity. And so those two opposing or different forces or parties are drawn to each other because they need to be complete. And it is that other party, that specific party, that is so perfect for it, that has that other set of information. Example again is masculinity and femininity. Masculinity talks about assertiveness, it goes outward, it's projecting, it's forceful, and it's driven and active. Where femininity is more receptive, pulling in, it's very sensitive and caring. Those two sets of consciousness come together in order to, we can say, for lack of better words, complete each other. That is a law of attraction to me. Okay, moving on, y'all. Number 8. We're going somewhere with this. Just ride the wave with me. What are we doing? We're talking about the 12 different fibers that create the fabric of life. We know them well. It's the 12 universal laws. We're on number 8. Number 8 is the law of perpetual of transmutation of energy. Wikipedia says the law of energy says that all energy that is in motion, energy is in motion, and that all energy that is in motion will eventually appear in physical form. Well, it means that our thoughts will eventually appear in physical form. Now, that's some stuff I Googled. Me, I right here. Oh, I got to read this next one. Still talking about the law of perpetual of transmutation of energy. I found somewhere on the internet, once I Googled it, it said it referred us to Newton. Newton's first law of motion, sometimes referred to as the law of inertia. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. I wrote on the side, I do not confirm. This is what I think. Because I already got something to think. I got 2 cents. I knew that I needed something to drink when I talked. So, butterfly effect of energy in motion. Butterfly effect of energy in motion goes back to like the law of vibration. We're each vibrating soul, and we send ripples out, and those ripples hit somebody else or something else, and it affects them, and they send their ripples out. We join forces with them, and the ripples keep going out. Okay, and so it's just like that. I say butterfly effect of energy in motion. One must stay on top of desired frequency. We talked about this once again, because here is the perpetual transmutation, or the changing of the energy. We have the potential for energy to be changed when in motion, when it is joined with another frequency or bumped into by an alternative, uh, object. We're talking about energy now, y'all. Not so much a real person, just energy flow, frequency. And so it says one must stay on top of the desired frequency because there is a consistent flow in and out of any given component, and its frequency can be affected. We talked about it. All right. So we just getting the basics down. Number 9, the law of relativity. Law of relativity. At the lawofattraction.com, it says is all about the neutrality of things when seen in isolation. So no particular person experiences, emotion, or action is evaluated as good or bad until you look at it in comparison with something else. So let me read before I put my 2 cents in. It says, because you exist, sperm and ovum had to bond successfully. Did y'all catch that? It says, because you exist, at some point, some sperm or a particular sperm and a particular egg had to bond successfully. Law of relativity. That's how you got here. Now, another thing I'm going to read first before I say something. Here go my 2 cents on the law of relativity. It says, you cannot see life if you do not see yourself in relationship to life. Every individual that has, is, and will ever exist are stitches in the fabric of life. We are part of life as well. What do I have here? Without these souls, our souls, the souls that occupy each individual that create humanity at any given time, them souls. If there were no souls in physical bodies, then there will be no life. Life complements the state of the collective soul. It is what brings us all together. What I just expressed is an example of the law of relativity. So I'll leave it alone and I'll move forward. The next is the law of polarity. And we kind of covered the law of polarity, but I'm going to go ahead. The law of polarity, number 10, is absolutely everything has an opposite expression, energy, or frequency. The example is masculine and femininity. And example, life and death. I've written here, there are at least 2 distinct sets of information or consciousness that depend on each other to create and complete a critical system. Just like I was talking about masculine and feminine. Life and death. It's a whole system, 2 sets of distinct consciousness that go together. So, anyway, what do I have here? Life called to be subjected to authority of the law. Oh, okay. I know what I'm saying. So I'm still expounding upon one of the examples I've offered for the law of polarity. Talking about life and death. Let's talk about the difference. Life is one side of this polarity. One of the things we're going to use to describe polarity. Life is called, when you have life, you are called to be subjected to the authority of the laws. What laws? These 12 universal laws. The law, gravity or whatever. Because you got life, you are called to be subjected to the authority of the law. What's the opposite of life? Right, death. So, the opposite of death, this is the consciousness. Death is being released from all the obligations associated with the laws that govern life. Now, once you're in life, you're under authority. Once you die, you out the authority. That's the whole system. Boom. Law of polarity. Next one is the law of rhythm. We almost done, y'all, and then hopefully you're going somewhere with it. I don't know. I didn't finish my notes. I'ma just, see how I go. Again, thank you for being patient and being present. The law of rhythm. Number 11 is law of rhythm. Perpetual motion, movement. All things come in cycles. Examples are like seasons, the aging process, life stages. Let's see. I have here in quotations, ride the wave, trust the process. Okay, I was about to do something. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna stop. The last one, and last but not least, number 12 is the law of gender. The law of gender. Nature produces male and females, each having their own potential. And the reason why the law of gender exists is to ensure procreation. Let's see, perpetuate the reoccurrence of life. Oh, okay. The law of gender. What is it and why does it exist? Why am I contending that it's absolute, it's perfect, it's consistent, it won't change, and all those kind of things. And what's the other one? Consistent, absolute, and I can't even think what the other one, but y'all know what I mean. It is because nature produces the male because he has certain potential, and physically produces a female because it has certain potentials, and they come together to procreate in order to do what? Perpetuate the reoccurrence of life. Law of gender. Going a little further, because the law of gender just does not relate solely to the physical, biological, like avatar of a being. It also has to do with the two distinct major types of energy, which we covered back with the law of polarity. And that is like the masculine and feminine energy, the yin, the yang. Okay, so why is that important? Now let's talk. Remember, the subject matter of this live stream is the fabric of life, and we're covering the fabric of life now because we are currently living in a new paradigm or in a new world order. And whoever created us created this life that we are in with these 12 fibers, these 12 laws. And remember, to be alive makes you susceptible to adhere to these laws. In order to have this, to experience a utopia, to have life be a utopia as closely as possible, you must adhere to the 12 laws. But this new paradigm or this new world order, how can I say, distorts each of these 12 laws or these 12 fibers to life that promises utopia, distorts them completely. What we must be mindful of is that these 12 universal laws or 12 fibers that create life are consistent. They will not change. They are perfect, absolute, and logical. So let me stop. What's going to happen in this new paradigm? Let me see. I got another one over here. Reality. Okay. Let me see if I can go over here. I don't know how this is going to go because I didn't finish my notes. So here we have a person, a genie, riding on a carpet. And that person is a representative of yourself. And as you can see, this genie or this representation of each of us has this, what do they call it, the genie jar, or what do you call it thing, the magic lamp. And the magic lamp, in movies, you rub on a magic lamp and you make 3 wishes. I want this life, I want to live my best life, I want the quality of life, I want this and this, that. And so, how can I say this? The actual carpet that the figure is just a representative of us sitting on represents our works that we do. The carpet that is underneath our character and underneath the rug that he or she has made for itself is riding on top of the fabric of life. All of those things we just went over. Those 12 universal laws. Those 12 fibers that create life. Life is consistent, absolute, and logical. It ain't going to change. It ain't going nowhere. And it is a real living being. But here we go. We who, each of us that create humanity at this time, all 7.5 plus billion people, creating our own rug. And therefore creating our reality. New paradigm living. The first law is the law of what? Divine oneness. Remember, the 12 universal laws, the 12 fibers that create life, create a utopia, a heaven-like reality. They're always in place. They are never removed. They exist even now. But we as human beings, we do what we do, and we decide what's best for ourselves. I say that. So when it comes to the law of divine oneness, that says, hey, I'm going to tell y'all the complication I'm about to have with this, is that all 12 fibers are what? Intertwined. So I'm trying to keep them loose to explain how new paradigm living is going to affect our relationship with the life. I'll say it again. This new paradigm living, or this new world order, is going to affect humanity's relationship to life. Life is consistent, absolute, it don't change, and whatever else I said. So let's try to take it apart. Each one of these threads. The law of divine oneness. Say, hey, whatever I do is going to affect you. Whatever I do is going to ripple, law of vibration, law of perpetual transmutation of energy is going to ripple into the future. And this new paradigm has moved to create a mindset in people that exist now and that will be born into our realm in the future, that what I do don't affect you. I can do whatever I want to do. I can be as ugly as I want to be, pretty as I want to be, as self-centered as I want to be, whatever the case may be. I can do that. And have no comprehension that it's going to affect anything else, especially not the universe or the cosmos. So what am I saying? In this new world order, the majority of the people that create humanity will move forward doing their works with that mindset that they don't affect anything outside of themselves. Okay, that's okay. But understand, the 12 universal laws, or the 12 fibers that create life, absolutely, they ain't going to change. They're going to stay consistent. That's what you want to do? Okay. Well, you're going to do that. You're going to do your own works. And when you act ugly, as an example, or you do anything, even though if you don't want to admit it, if you don't want to look at it, understand you're having this rippling effect that is affecting the micro level as well as the macro level. And guess what? Your whole reality is going to change for the negative. I don't know how I'm going to do this. You will be creating hell on earth on all levels. I really don't know how I'm going to do this. Let me try to move on. The next law is y'all, let me see. The next one is the law of vibration. So, how can I say this? Did I write any notes here? Remember, the fabric of life is absolute, it's logical, and it's consistent. It's not going to change. But the new world order that we are in has framed the people that create humanity's mind to not understand, perceive, or comprehend that their works have an impact upon everything, whether it's the micro or the macro. And so since they don't know, people gonna do whatever they want to do, oblivious to the effect it's having on what? The micro and the macro. Let's say, hypothetically, case scenario, a person does something and it causes a negative emotional response in another, even the earth, the law of vibration. Now, even though that person is unaware or not comprehending or do not care about the negative effect it's had on another component in our universe, that other part is still affected. And that, I see the complication I'm about to really run into. I'll keep trying to go. And so that other component or entity or member of our cosmos is now in a negative vibration. It's slowing down. An example, it's like the earth. The individual, I'm trying to do it again. The individual doesn't care, is not aware, nor comprehends that what they do has a rippling effect in the world. And so they do whatever they're going to do. And it has a negative effect upon the earth. And the earth, okay, now is affected and it's starting to vibrate on a lower vibration. What happened to the earth? Just an example. Let's say we excavated all her internal organs and sustaining systems. We call them natural resources. Now the earth is vibrating on a lower level. On a lower level. The law of vibration says that, hey, if earth is vibrating low, then she's going to have a ripple effect that affects every system she's connected to. And guess what? We're all, everything you can comprehend and or not comprehend are interdependent, interconnected. So when the earth begins to vibrate slowly on a lower, dense, darker vibration, it's going to ripple out to everyone in or everything in existence, including you and I. And therefore, it changes our reality. This is going to be complicated. I know why I stopped. I need to talk about another part of life. And I've talked about it many times before. I don't even know the statement that I came up with to articulate this concept. And the concept of life. Life changes so slowly that we can't perceive the various progressions it goes through. I always talk about it's like life is like watching paint dry. You don't see the changes or the transition. It's like getting old. When you get old, it's one day you're one age, you look in the mirror and you're another age, you step back, you look again, another age. You don't see that progress, the progression. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to keep in mind that all of this is taking place in a sphere of consciousness that we're not comprehending. We're not comprehending. We're not watching life under a microscope. So we're not comprehending the changes and the transitions that's taking place. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how humanity's relationship with life is going to be negatively affected in this new paradigm or during this new world order. One thing is that we've been socially engineered, I'll say, to be so self-centered, self-focused, narcissistic, and egotistical. I talk about it. So we feel like we can do anything we want, and we don't take in consideration that it will have an adverse effect in another component in our universe. Say hypothetically, once again, if we do anything that negatively affects another component in our universe, and that component drops off into a dark, low vibrational energy, it then will dispense that negativity out. Where would it hit next? We don't know, because we can't see the process, the progression of life. It's too fine. I don't know the word. It's too fine to see. Anyway, I'm going to try to make it make sense. Ride the wave with me. The next law, after the law of vibration, is the law of action. Remember, the law of action talks about things being inspired, divinely inspired to be in motion, to keep moving for its appointed time. You gonna go because you got life. You gonna move. You gonna think. You gonna breathe because you got life. You gonna react because you got life. And how can I say this? Everything is in a constant flux under the law of attraction. I'm going to have to try to do this without putting them in order, y'all. So, because we're talking about how is the new world order going to look. Number one, I'm saying this. I'm contending this. It's going to look a mess. It's going to look a mess. The spirit is going to be a mess. Because the fabric of life has already told us what it's about. But we want to do our own thing. And so we don't want to be considerate of another. We don't want to look at the truth that when we do something offensive, or I can't think of the word, offensive, against any part of existence, that is going to have a negative ripple effect. Remember, we are divinely inspired to keep moving, to go, to do, to be in motion. So it's not like we can stop it. Once it's in motion, it's in motion. And the only thing that's going to stop anything in motion, and I think is the perpetual law of transmutation of energy, is to be able to identify something that we have a hard time comprehending and to like hit it, redirect it with positive energy. I gotta say that. Because what am I talking about? I'm talking about when the negative vibration gets out of here, like fear. Fear it's a ripple effect. And so when fear is rippling and it's constantly moving, it's going to, any energy that is in motion stays in motion. Even if fear dissipates, to us, with our naked eye, it really hasn't gone anywhere. I'll refer you back to 9/11, what happened in New York in 9/11. The fear that was struck then has not gone anywhere. We can say like it's a underground energy. We can't see the progression of life. It's too fine. Unless we, the humans that create humanity at this time, do something to or to intercept that fear energy and to re-influence it, the perpetual state of transmutation of energy, which means that in the new paradigm, we would have to ensure people's sense of security in this world. But we're not doing that. The people in power are not doing that. So it will, create this hell-like state. I don't know how I'm going to do this one. This is a deep, hard one to explain. Anyway, so I'm going to try to go on. The law of correspondence, which remember, the law of correspondence suggests that there are repeating patterns. So I have to go back and talk about this new paradigm relative to the studies in sociology and things like that. Understanding humans and what they're prone to do just because they're in a human condition, understanding that we have a spirit of fear that is running throughout all of humanity. On the news, we've seen people beheaded. We've seen buildings blown up with thousands of people in it. We have seen different hijackings. We see the different things our political figures are doing that jeopardize our well-being. I'm just trying to give y'all an example. This is a spirit of fear that has ushered us into the new paradigm. And that spirit continues to ripple again and will stay in motion unless it is diverted and redefined. But most of us don't know it is there. We're not aware it's there. We're not comprehending such things as this ongoing fear is there. And the people that are in power, I'm talking about true power over this existence, they're aware that this, I'll say, obscure fear is there. Prominent, obscure but prominent fear is there. This is just an example. And they're going to use that prominent yet obscure fear to manipulate all the people in humanity in this new paradigm and during this new world order. People will become increasingly more selfish and self-centered and egotistical, even though it's against their betterment. You know, I don't know how to even say this. I guess that's why I stopped trying to do it. The law of correspondence. So, the people that are in power knew long before we got into this new phase or stage, which is the new paradigm, that they had to set a cadence for us to follow. This is the law of correspondence. And then I'm going to go into the law of cause and effect, even though it's not in order. The studies show that they had to force the people that create humanity into a particular mindset for it to ripple. Once that ripple occurred, it would continue because energy and motion stays in motion unless diverted. They also knew that they had to make sure that people were stayed unaware of this perpetual energy. Otherwise, we could do what? Do something about it. And so, because people are now, currently, as we speak, in this obscure but prominent state of continuous and perpetual fear, this undertone spirit, there are going to be effects, cause and effect. The effect will be, example, new paradigm living. People will be what? Increasingly more self-centered. It will be about self-entitlement. Self-preservation. Right there. That's an example. I want to continue with that, but I'm trying to get it out. So, very narcissistic endeavors. The issue is, get it out, Nancy. It's back to the fabric of life, which is absolute, complete, and consistent. We have been socially engineered to have particular mindsets and behaviors that contradict the rules or laws of the fabric of life. And as a direct result, we're going to bring hell here on earth. No, that ain't what I was going to say. I almost had it, y'all. The contradictions is going against the effects, the cause, and the effect. And the effect is, because of fear, everybody is out trying to get what they can in order to secure their life. When life said, all humans at any given time are to work collectively in order to bring back the utopia, the design utopia. That's the rule. Let me tell you what the rule of divinity is, the creator of the life that we are in relationship to. I think I'll tell you the rule. The rule is that we're all supposed to work together in order to uphold and uplift humanity at any given time. We are supposed to do it through our physical works here on earth. Each individual is supposed to contribute to the collective well-being. Whether you are contributing to the collective well-being from your little lot in life, whatever that may be consist of, whether it's just your family, yourself, your community, trust and believe that it's going to play into the whole collective and all of humanity and the state of humanity. This is the law. The law is to rise to the highest expression of Capricorn, meaning whatever area of work you are in, whatever your expertise is, when you come to the table, you come to the table bringing your abilities for the purpose of doing what? Uplifting humanity overall at any given time during your lifetime. That's what it's about. That's rules. And the life say, here go the rules to life. Understand how energy flow, how everything works. Now, we're in this new paradigm. In this new paradigm, there is, I'm calling them anonymous because we don't know what these entities are, these peoples are, these guys are. There is an anonymous bunch that are totally against us being in alignment with the Creator and with the fabric of life. Because if we are in alignment with the Creator and what it said for us to do, ultimately, the goal, and aligning with the fabric of life, a fabric of life, we would have the utopia we could finally see. It doesn't want us to. So what it has done in this physical world is created a perceptual distortion where we can't see. We don't understand what our Creator is asking of us. That's the first distortion. The next distortion is we don't know what the fabric of life is, nor do we understand the fibers, and we're also going against the fibers. Why are we going against the fibers? It's because we've been trained to go against the fibers. Once you go against the fibers, you change reality, and you are offensive to the life, because the life has its consistent, absolute, perfect, logical rules. Period. So in this new paradigm, rather than ascending, rather than getting closer to knowing who our Creator is and being in good graces, the new paradigm is moving us away. How is the new paradigm or the new world order moving us away from the utopia that we can accomplish? The new rules that are being put out here, the new policies, laws, and regulations that are associated with the various constructs that create our whole system, has us at odds again with the life. I've been trying to go each law to show an example, but they play too closely or too tightly into each other for me to successfully do it. Let me go to the next one. Maybe I can find a way to jump up on it. The law of cause and effect. I've done that. The law of compensation. This is a good one. I'll use this. Yes, I'll ride my ego wave. I'm going to ride my ego wave. I'm going to use YouTube, this platform, as an example. There are, I don't know, countless a number of people that get on here and teach and do things like that. There are some people that are compensated, and there are other people that are not compensated. Now, this YouTube and technology is all a part of the new paradigm. So, let's read the law of compensation again. Okay? The law of compensation says, restating the law of compensation is sowing and reaping. What you sow is what you reap. It says, talking about the law of compensation, it says that you will always be compensated for your efforts and for your contribution. Whatever your contribution is, you will get compensated for it. No matter how large or how small, you will be compensated. That is the law of what? Life. That is a fiber of life. And we see it played out in, like I was talking about, the process, breathing process. Humans breathe in, we inhale oxygen. We exhale carbon monoxide. The trees pick up the carbon monoxide, process it, spit oxygen back out for the process to start again. The law of compensation. And it's on all levels. I'm going to use YouTube, my platform, and the things that I see. Based on the amount of work I put here on YouTube, this is my egotistical rant. I am not compensated anywhere equivalent to the work that I put out. But there are others that may not be as knowledgeable as myself, may have not really researched as myself. And it's even people higher than me, so I'm talking about people that are not on my level, and they are highly compensated. Now, back to the law. The law says, okay, for the utopia, if you put your work in, if you contribute, you will get compensated. Not my value in my case. However, there is compensation. There are other forms of compensation that I do receive. There is the compensation of, what they call it, the quote, no good deed goes unpunished. I'm trying to make this make sense to you. No good deed goes unpunished. Still talking about the law of compensation. No good deed goes unpunished. So, many times I am punished for my work. I'm under ridicule, criticism, this and that, just to put myself out here. No good work goes unpunished. That is the law of compensation being fulfilled. But if a good deed is being compensated evil, they tying in together. I gotta say it. Because see, now we have the law of vibration going on simultaneously. That's where I'm getting, it's getting complicated for me. Because it's just not the law of compensation, using myself as an example and my place here on the platform. It also becomes the law of vibration. New paradigm living. New paradigm mindset. The mindset of the new paradigm, I'll say this. Remember, we've talked on my channel about the various social norms, the social acceptable, the standards that are acceptable. I also often share that I don't fit into those standards, and I get it. I'm an Aquarius. We're very unique beings, and we march to the beat of our own drum. I don't fit the standards. But if a person does not fit the standards, if they don't qualify, then they're not deemed as valuable. Period. That's new paradigm thinking. However, if a person fits the new paradigm concepts of or the norms or the acceptables or the standards, then they are highly valued, even if they're uneducated, even if they lie to you just blatantly, and it's nothing about education, just lie to you, entertain you, anything like that, they're still valued, and they are shown the law of compensation in a reasonable way, whether it's sport, monetary, or whatever. So, let me ride this wave, y'all. What does the future, let me ask you, what will the future look like if humanity is valuing those that, not all, but those that do lie, that do mislead, that do miseducate, and the law of compensation is upheld as it's supposed to be, because it's absolute and complete, it will be done. And those that, perform works. Remember, over here on the carpet, somebody got their own works going on. So a person does their works, and their work have no integrity. Oh, we go back into the last live stream I just did, where the astrological energy is talking about people that are in playing social roles, not because they are going to be helpful to humanity, but because it's going to be beneficial to their pockets in order to live their best life. That's what the astrological energy was about. That's what the last live stream I did was about. And it was called, what was the name? Was it about astrological? Oh, I see you. I see you. I get it now. All right, life. I see. Okay. I see you. It says I see you. So, at this point in time, the way things are set up in our world, based on our world constructs and things like that, there are certain groups, I guess, that are valued. And it's the groups of people that fit into the standards, the norms, the acceptable, they are valued and they are compensated in a pleasing manner. And because that is the case, life itself, the state of our reality, is being created. In the future, because that is the case, because people that really are not in integrity, really don't know what they're talking about, really ain't bringing nothing benefit to humanity, no matter what it is. I'm not going to talk about any particular bracket, no matter what bracket it is. I don't care if it was a doctor, a lawyer, a tarot reader, if the collective, if the majority are going to value people that are in their seats of power for their own betterment, then the reality of our life is being created. And we are creating it. Because the life that already told us what it is. But we gonna do what we want to do. So we do it. So there's going to be a particular time period. I can see it now. In the near future, it's going to begin. It's already begun. I see. Okay. And now I got to kind of break it down into the roles. I'm stopping y'all. I'm sorry. I know I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm seeing now. I've been working on these different projects, and I didn't see how they fit into each other until now. What am I seeing? The astrological message that I received says something was looking at saying, I see you in your social role doing your damn thing. And if you doing your damn thing because you are in that place or in that role because you're going to benefit humanity. And so you do certain works. Okay? But then there's other people that's in the same or similar role that's in that role not because they're trying to help humanity. They're just trying to help themselves. So we are living in a time now where most people are in seats, whatever seats they are in, whatever role they play in society, in the world, and they about themselves. So most of the time they give you half-truths, incomplete information, lie, they don't have no integrity, Understand this is creating your future reality. The fabric of life has already been explained. You know what you're supposed to do. It's the law of compensation. You continue to compensate them, meaning build them up. This is a common thing that's been going on, I see. You build them up, they keep doing it, they keep perpetuating their message, and you start living your life based on their message. It creates our reality. So now, examples. If a person, I always use a doctor because we all know about a doctor. If a person is a doctor and they're not really there to heal people, to be a healer, then they're going to be what in the end? They're going to be more of a detriment to the people that create humanity. But the fabric of life said the law of compensation is excuse me. The law of compensation says you reap what you sow. So how can a person that lacks integrity reap the benefits? How can they reap popularity? How can they reap wealth? Well, what they're giving humanity is something that's ultimately going to be detrimental to those that follow, listen, learn, or up under their, like Dr. Knife. How can it be? And those people can only stay in their role because people support them. So, okay. Now, let's talk about the law of perpetual motion relative to that example. I think I got it. So now we have a person out here playing their social role, whatever it may be, and they're not moving forward integrity. They're not there for humanity. They're there for themselves. And they teach or do whatever they do, and they had an impact upon the people. And the people out here go live their lives and they end up having very negative life experiences. And they can't overcome certain circumstances, situation, etc. They are not ascending, but yet they're descending. They're sad, they're depressed, they're committing suicide, which means their vibration is doing what? It's getting lower and lower. Remember, energy, vibration of energy is perpetual. It keeps moving and it has this ripple effect. So when one of those people, hypothetically, case scenario, falls off into deep depression or kills themselves, it ripples on, trying to make it as mundane, as simple as possible. It ripples on, and it has effect upon if they have any, what they call it, dependents, like children they leave behind, or have to deal with the parents' drug use because they fell into this low place, that kind of thing. And so this is what is going to occur, is what I'm saying. When it comes to this new paradigm, to this new world order, this is what's going to happen increasingly. And I'm giving you the reason why it's going to happen. It is our making. I see now, I see. Let me read these other ones to see if I can go ahead and ride the wave. And while I see, I understand. Okay, then we have the law of attraction. Well, the law of attraction plays in so many aspects of this life, and I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. I love everybody. It is what it is. But the law of attraction here, let's talk about the new paradigm. I'm talking about themes that we deal with every day, we're aware of. We're dealing with the LBGYT community and its growth and the redefining of gender. We have the law of gender. And the law of gender says, life says, hey, this is the law. Now, it's absolute, it's complete, it's consistent, it doesn't change, it's logical. I, have made male and female for the purpose of coming together, these opposite ends coming to make a complete system in order to procreate, to keep life going. But man, you do what you want to do. And now you got the LBGT plus community and all these other different aspects associated with gender. Okay, that's fine. And that's another thing it always tells us, I'm talking about life, God, or whatever. It's fine to do what you want to do. I'm absolute, I'm complete, and I'm logical. I am your utopia. But if you can do what you want to be, you can do what you want to be. So understand, if you're going to have LGBT plus community or whatever else you humans come up with, understand that it's going to be cause and effect. Because of that, there's going to be effect. What effect is it going to have on the world's population? What are the potentials? What are the potentials? Keeping in mind, all the laws of life are complete or absolute, logical, and consistent. Well, we know it's possible that there could be a decrease in procreation. We also know, let's think of some other things. Can we get some example? Can y'all help me with some examples of how going against the life and its rules relative to the law of gender is going to have a negative effect on our reality? Will there possibly, it already is, an imbalance between the masculine and feminine energy? I'm not talking about people, but the energy itself is falling off and being distorted. You know what I'm saying? And I say I'm talking people that create humanity, our disobedience to the laws are going to lead to changes in our reality. And it's actually going to create the world that we live in. And the world that we live in, as I keep stating, is not ascending, but it is descending. And it is descending because we're going against the natural laws. Bottom line, it's just that simple. And it's not just, and I'm not picking on LGBT community, all that kind of stuff. I love y'all. But, y'all everybody knows y'all. Everybody knows you. So, I use you as an example. So, thank you for letting me use y'all to show our reality. It is our reality. And we're going to either take it or we're going to leave it. When I say take it, we're going to create the world that we want. As selfish, egotistical individuals, we take it. Or we're going to leave it and we're going to fall in line with the life, and the fibers of life that ain't going to change. So all I want you to understand, based on that example, is because we have 9 different, I think it is, the ways to define gender now. there's going to be a negative impact. And I know it's negative because it's outside of the laws of life. Period. So those, I mean, we have to look at each of those 9 different genders, which I can't think of. Um, but I do know that there is one distortion that I've realized, and it is about the perfect example, just using an example, is men that are transgender, or what is it called? Dress like women and things like that. Um, is causing a distortion relative to. I'm gonna have to think about this before I be offensive. I'm probably already offended somebody. to real women, there is a distortion that exists in the life, and again, it's about femininity. It's getting so deep, y'all. Some of it's so complicated I can't even think fathom it. But it's the femininity, and how can I say? Remember, femininity is a consciousness. If a person, how can I say that? If a person, a male, is transgender or chooses to dress like a woman or present themselves like a woman, we want to slap a label that that person is feminine. But are they? Because remember, femininity is a consciousness. And so I'm just talking to my transgender men that dress as women or are changing over to be women. Are you caring? Are you capable of being nurturing? Are you capable of giving life and nourishment? This is the offense I'm talking about exist in relationship to the life. Now, if you can say, yes, I can do this, I got this love, I really care, I really nourish, then you are, whether you're male or female, I guess I can say, then you are an expression of femininity. If you have that state of consciousness, if you can live those acts out effortlessly, that's who you are. But, I mean, I guess this even goes if, like, anybody, I guess I could say. It's not just the LGBT community. That's complication. But perfect example still is if you're a person that has a masculine energy. A masculine energy, remember, is a set of consciousness. And a set of consciousness say you know how to be more direct, assertive, forceful. You know when to hold them. You know when to fold them. Those kind of things. And so it's just a certain level of consciousness. If you are capable of doing that, then you are in line with the masculine energy, no matter what gender you are. I think that's the better thing to say. And so the offense to the life occurs when we go against the law. Long as you're with the law, it's fine. So I'm going to say one more thing about some folks, just using that as an example, LBGYT community, because folk be so offended, is that if you are aligning with the rules of life, you okay. Thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? But if you know that you're going against the consciousness that life has told you what it is, then it is making for distortion in our reality that's not going to be good. I don't know how to say that. So I'm trying to explain the future of reality, and it's more complicated. I think I got my foot in my mouth right now, y'all. So it is what it is. I wear a size 9 and I'll eat it well. Anyway, the law of attraction. This is another thing. I'm going to hit on this law of attraction. You say when everybody realizes they are powerful spiritual beings, goodbye elitists and government politicians. That's wonderful, Jordan. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's what we have to understand. Now I want to cover the law of attraction. I'll try for this new paradigm living. The fabric of life has said blatantly, hey, it's the law of attraction out here. And this is what law of attraction is. If you want a utopia, you have to abide by it. And this is like total opposites, polarities attract each other, because what they're just two distinct but relative, back to the law of relativity, laws that create a whole complete system. If you want your utopia, you must know it, you must know how to execute it, you must know when it fits in. But this new paradigm, based under this new world order, these various constructs, rules, and regulations, we do not understand the law of attraction. We're not executing the law of attraction. An example of that is, let's see, what's two complete opposite systems that are interdependent upon each other? I'm trying to think. I just had one and it slipped my mind. New world order. I still get, I guess, back to the law of attraction. I can still go back to the law of gender and the law of masculinity. They all play into each other. We need male and female to follow the laws in order to procreate, in order to perpetuate life, etc., etc. So this was much more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Fabric of life. Can I get it? Can I get one good example? One good example, life, in order to explain what's going to happen in a new paradigm. Specifically. Would be very helpful, like right now. Reality. I'm trying to think. I ain't being funny, we have broken so many laws. These 12 laws, we done broke so many laws on so many levels. The truth of the matter is, the outlook for humanity, for the future of humanity, does not look good from my perspective. It does not look good. But in the Bible, biblical stuff, it did say, if you see the error of your ways and repent, turn away from, your works, I will hear it in heaven. I will see it from heaven, and I will forgive you and help you back to your former selves. So let me see. I really don't listen. I did the law of polarity. I just talked about the law of relativity and the law of rhythm. Law of rhythm mean we'll complement each other. Once we get into particular states of mind and ways of thinking, everything has a vibration. It's all relative. It's all interlinked. We will be rhythmically harmonizing with each other. If we decide the wave is hate, we will all ride hate. It will be a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? A rhythm. And that's why when I was talking about the 12 universal laws, or the 12 fibers that create life, I was saying how we must stay on top of our state of consciousness, and in our state of our frequency. We hear that all the time. But why must we do it? It is because once a large portion of humanity is in a particular frequency, it's gonna, it's going to consume humanity. It's going to consume humanity. And once the consumption happens, like I think we're already there, we won't be able to see the deterioration or rotting of our relationship with the life. I know we won't be able to see it. We're not seeing it. And so that is something else. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't do it better. I don't know how to do it better to show our relationship with the life right now, and how it is, and how it has the potential to either deteriorate further or to become a healthier state. And right now, it's whatever happens is completely in our hands. Either we can work together, obey the laws, and the health of our relationship with the life will heal itself. I always say this, so I'm kind of just saying the same thing again. And we will have much more of a utopia in this world. Maybe what I should do is try to make a video and talk about a utopia. We have been, again, I heard somebody socially engineered to see a utopia as something absolutely perfect and without flaws. And nothing in this physical realm is without flaws, and is all susceptible to deterioration. And so I think our idea, or our perception of a utopia or a heaven-like state needs to be more reasonable. If we are able to have a reasonable perspective about a utopia or a heaven-like state, we may be more prone to align ourselves with the fine fabric of life. But if we see, a utopia or a heaven-like state here is boring or like that, or you know, we might not do it. But if we keep on, I'm telling you, if we keep on, based on what I'm seeing, if we keep on going against these laws, these universal laws, we are ultimately going to destroy ourselves. That's one thing. But it's before that. How can I, because this is something, what I'm talking about is something you cannot see. What I've been dealing with is something that is unperceivable or comprehensible by the human eye. I'm talking about the spirit. You can't say see life. It's the spirit. And so I've been trying to talk about, I'll say maybe an ethereal entity here and our relationship with it. And we have created for ourselves like a phantom or a shadow of real life. And that shadow of real life is present now. And that shadow is what we'll be walking with in this new paradigm. And I plan to keep moving forward with my new paradigm living segments in order to show what new paradigm living is going to look like. And this video was not really to show the physical manifestation of new paradigm living. It was just supposed to show and reveal that the spirit of life really exists, and that how we're going, against it, and it's not going to change. But what we are doing is we're weaving for ourselves again this phantom or shadow-like distorted replica of life that's going to govern us. But life is still sitting there, perfect in its structure, or its weaving is perfect. And so I don't know if I made that make sense. A pleasure to be here. Then, well, hey George, how are you doing? I'm gonna stop because when I keep trying, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna go back, review this. Maybe I'll get. I got the clarity. I just don't know how to put it into words. I thought it would be easier to talk about these ethereal beings, but it was not. It was not. But I got a couple of more projects that I've been working on that I set to the side. And so I'm going to get to them because I know that it's time to move forward. I feel, but I could be wrong, but I feel like some other information is going to come before the end of next month. I feel like something going on going to happen. Something going to happen before next month. And I don't know what it is or how big it is, but I do know that the different projects that I've been working on, this one and the other live I did earlier, as well as a couple projects I got over there, all go together. I just don't know how. I just doing this live stream bridged this information with the information to the other live streams. Just said, I see you. I see you. I don't know if humanity is going to deal with, we call it a world event, because it's people in the wrong positions. People in the wrong positions. And then it play into this as well, that we are not, again, dealing with the established fabric of life. We're dealing with the shadow that we created by going against it. And so whatever happens, I don't know, y'all, I'm not sure. I'm just sharing what I think I'm perceiving. That whatever happens, probably world event occurs between now and in March. It is going to happen because people been dealing with the shadow of life. And so like they've been misled or something, and because they misled and too far removed from reality and what is, like they like the people in the life, us, we're not seeing the urgency of like forcing the hands of people. Example, best example I can give, uh possibly the way this is already manifested is like our president and all he has going on globally, and his impeachment, and him getting, being able to stay in that office so long, um, and not being removed with all the different accusations. It just kept going on. It's been going on and on and on. And I'm not a highly political savvy person. I'm just using it as an example that he's been able to sit and do, even though it's been a lot of complaints against him. And humanity is so preoccupied with other stuff that they didn't turn and say, oh, enough is enough. Whatever got enough is enough. And so it possibly lead to, for real, a world event due to that. When when I was getting these messages, I was really feeling like, I have images that start going through my mind when I get these messages. And so different people, on a mundane level as well as a global level, start coming across my mind. And so he did come across my mind. I can't say he didn't. When I was reading the ICU, when I did the ICU message, I was like, oh, I see you as the president of the United States, and you're not supposed to be there because you're not doing this, and this, and so you are this, and that, and because you did this, and that, and the people, you done misled the people, and they're not dealing with me and then the fabric of life, they ain't paying my laws no attention. Y'all done made your own laws. There's an outcome. There's an effect. And so what I'm seeing, I'm trying to talk about two different worlds, and that's what I'm aware of. I'm trying to talk about the physical world as well as what I guess people label the ethereal realm at the same time. I'm trying to talk about both of them, and so it's becoming real complicated. And I'm getting to the point where I can't separate them. Even in my readings, my tarot readings that I did for the month, I realized it got to the point the time I got to Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, I started not being able to separate physicality from spirituality. And so I'm really personally feeling like we're at this crescendo in the history of humanity where I say, you think about it, where did we come from? Who is our creator? All those kind of questions we haven't been able to answer. Is something really taking place at this point in time in the history of humanity that is going to be monumental, both on a physical level as well as a spiritual level. And the best I can make of it is the stuff I'm talking about, whether I'm able to articulate it appropriately or not. And the thing of it is, there's some spiritual entities going on here, including life. It is us who are spirit beings, and we have a particular state of consciousness, whether it's evil or light, whether you're a light being or a dark being. It's talking about being in this physical world in order to refine your spirit through this physical experience. How most of us are failing is like that which designed us is giving us the opportunity to get on a good foot to repent here in this physical world, so that we can go ahead and have whatever experiences we need to have in order to uplift our souls, because we're in some form of detriment or something. But there is another entity out here that doesn't want us to do that, and it has created this here construct that we live in, and all the rules and everything that are in play go against the life. The life has rendered itself to us to help us get back in good graces with our creator. But there's the entity that is hijacked this realm and created these various constructs that go against the life. See, it's a lot going on, and it's all interplaying, and it's interlocked. And so it's getting very complicated. And so I did kind of get the message. It's just time for us to do it. Either you got it or you don't got it. You got it or you don't got it. And that's an interesting thing, because the people that I have exposure to, whether it's here online or around me, um, to think that we got it. It's not just me. It's not just others like myself that are teaching or trying to learn. Is we all got it. We know it's time to do certain things. But what it seems to me is that many people do not, it's hard to comprehend. It's hard to accept what we think we are perceiving. Like we are more than just physical beings. It's hard. It's like to comprehend that you are spirit and eternal. You know, it's hard to comprehend that life is a living being. You know, and it's those kind of things that humans aren't holding on to successfully, that is leading us or stagnating us from moving forward and doing what we already know we're supposed to do. It's like this whole thing even about death. Not existing in the physical no more. These are things that what's the word? It's a word, was existential, when you got existential crisis. Those kind of things that bring us to that existential crisis moment. Where you gotta like let it go and ground yourself back to physicality to be okay, because you might lose your mind or have dissociative disorder pop in, or you know what I'm saying, or something like that, or depression or some type of insanity. You know, and so it's that right there. Yep. Who was that? What you want?
I'm trying to find a blue duffel bag that's been downstairs all this time. All my clothes in it and it's gone.
Well, you need to talk to them. I'm live. Get out my room. Don't breathe too hard. I might get mad. So, again, I hope I didn't waste your time. Hopefully, I was able to, make some of it make sense. I'll try to work on it because it is very important. I'm gonna give you one more existential crisis I personally have. Like, it's all of these things that I'm seeing through my studies real. It's hard to hold on to if it's real. And why for me is it hard to hold on to say, is this stuff real? Am I tripping? Am I making stuff up? It's because it's just me. It's just Nancy. Who am I to be able to see these things or interpret these things? Is it real? And I look around at everybody else I'm exposed to, whether here online or in my immediate family, and I understand based on my lessons that we already all know, but we're all going through these existential crisis, so we keep shoving it away. It's okay. Ignore that, Nancy, and look at who you are as an individual person. Is this stuff real? Do you spend hours upon hours studying these things, meditating, contemplating, and also talking to these anonymous beings for something that is not real? But then I go like existential crisis. Then what is real? What is real? I'm here in this physical body, but I also know it's temporary. What is real? And so I'm trying to evolve myself, to tell y'all the truth. I'm trying to evolve myself into this place of truly 100% embracing all of these messages I get. And it been bombarding me my whole entire life. It's like, what is this? And so I understand I think again, it's the existential crisis. And I understand how it can stand in a person's way of truly gaining enlightenment. And that's what's really blocking us. So that's another message that I got. But how can you, that's the level I'm on, really. How can you get rid of that rejection? I don't know if do y'all understand when I say existential crisis is? Y'all get that? That's major. That's what's really occurring with humanity. And again, that's a brainwashing, but it's not a brainwashing per se by our social constructs, our very social constructs that create our overall world structure. This existential crisis that humans have is from the entity that doesn't want us to know what's going on. And that existential crisis is put into place on a spiritual level or something like that. I'm not quite clear on it. That shuts the mind down and it becomes disassociated from the spirit. Like, like if you ever you have an existential crisis, if a person doesn't know what I'm talking about, by going outside and just sitting there and looking at the stars, the sky, just keep looking at the sky, the stars. You be like, because you start understanding how small you are. Like, what is that? Or again, death, pondering death, or going to see somebody that has died. What's that? That's the existential crisis when you shut down because you can't handle it. You can't handle it. Like one day, me and my family was sitting outside and a dragon flew over. Now, how everybody see a dragon at the same time? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was visually clear, like it's in a movie or something, CGI. No, it was the spirit, the essence, the energy of a dragon. And we was all like, and me, I'm nosy. Me and my girlfriend who was crossing and watched this huge dragon come. And so we ain't saying nothing. I turn to my daughter. I say, dude, what's wrong with you? She was like, nothing. I was like, well, did you see that? She said, I didn't see it, but I felt it. I said, well, why you ain't look up? She said, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. That's an existential crisis. Now, it was like 4 or 5 of us out there. Four of us out there. And everybody had the exact same experience at the exact same time. My daughter wouldn't look up. She couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle seeing, because it was like it could consume us. It was like it was opening up its mouth and consume us. We all had the same experience. Me, I'm nosy. I look and try to look into the I'm going to forget how to say it, exponential, whatever, you know what I'm saying, crisis. I try to look at it, and that's how I know that there is this thing that is already programmed in us to shut us down, not to look any further, because it can cause a break in the psyche, and that's another thing that humanity is dealing with, especially when a lot of people are committing suicide. They don't know what's going on, losing their mind, all kind of things, dealing with a lot of escapism techniques such as drugs and different things like that. A lot of people, when they deal with these crises, I can't even think of the word now, deal with them even on a mundane level. Again, that's more earthly, grounded people. I'm going to give you an example who I think is dealing with the existential crisis. It's like Lil Wayne. People like Lil Wayne dealing with it, but he may not even very well. I mean, we all deal with it when it comes to life and death and different things like that. But some people deal with it on a more mundane level, hitting fame and stardom, and it just being overwhelming and not being able to comprehend how other people can be so absorbed with you, and what magic are they seeing? Why are you the piper? Why are they following you? Why can't you breathe? Why can't you think anymore? Why is somebody else running your life? That leads to one of those types of crises as well. And when you can't get control or grounding anymore, that's when a person begins to use escapist tactics such as drug abuse and alcohol. And so all of these things, why am I rambling on? It is because, number one, it all still pours back into this topic about the fabric of life. The fabric of life. We can't even fathom the fabric of life. I moved in an attempt to describe the fabric of life and all of the threads and things that create the actual fabric or the spirit or the living being called life, can lead to an existential crisis for those that are not ready. But as mentioned, it seems like we are currently in a time period where it is time for us to face those things that lead to existential crisis, because we're at a detrimental place. Detrimental place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a word. When I talk so long, I lose my state of consciousness or something. So hopefully that makes sense, y'all. Hopefully I'll be back in a few days with covering some of these other things. But I got to really go think on how to talk about this. You say I'm right on time. I'm in Cali. I feel the energy too. It's real. It's real energy. And I mean, back to the existential crisis before I let y'all go. That's some deep stuff, and that's the subject matter I would like to cover in a live in itself. But I don't want to be responsible for nobody's mental health. Mental health, you know, that's another reason in our physical world, um, our social construct of health and primarily focus on behavioral health and mental health, why they not putting a lot of funding there? They know we at a time period where these existential crises are going to occur. I did that, y'all. I was about to lose a word. They're going to occur. And they know the impact it has upon man. Remember, the field of knowledge of sociology. They study all of this. It's not just sociology, it's psychology. You know, the study of the mind and behaviors and things like that. And so they do, when I say they, I'm talking about government officials, do know where the money should be directed. People are going to need help because we're in that time period. We're in a time period in the history of humanity that we are awakened. We are so enlightened. Look at all the technological advancements that have occurred uh, over the last 100 years. I can look at it in my lifetime, you know. So our consciousness had to evolve. You know, we're in a different time period. We're not just working to get the bare essentials of life. No, we got just the air central unit is a technical advancement. You know what I'm saying? And because we have air central units, our consciousness had to be on another level because we had to know how to create them, make them, sustain them, maintain them, all kind of stuff. You know, and so again, why am I saying talking about the bare basics of mundane life, everyday common life stuff? It's because that's what helped develop and wake up our consciousness. Now that our consciousness is up, we're going to have those existential crises, those things that we didn't think about because we didn't think that deep. But if y'all know it or not, we hitting genius level. That's what we need to understand. Now, since we're hitting genius level, we're going to be creating on genius level. We're going to be creating on the genius level. Are we going to be creating based on the rules of life? Or are we going to be creating from the rules of the shadow that we created of this thing called life? You know, and it appears we're going to be creating from the shadow. Spiritual, religious verse. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of what? Life, the shadow we created, I shall not fear. What does it say? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and the staff, they comfort me, and they leadeth me beside still waters. I remember some stuff from church. Back in the day, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. It wasn't a religious book. It was not, that Bible wasn't a religious book. It was some type of, what do people call it, label it Masonic or occultic book of that was totally encoded. And now if you are awake, you can see, you know, whatever you were exposed to, you can see now. We're in an age where I'm telling y'all, we're not going back. We're not going back. And you do know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. And that's the message that I got. We all know what we're doing. And so, when the future unfolds, and this is another question. I guess I got another question. This is what I'm asking, like what we supposed to do? I never even finished. I'm rambling, y'all, because I got a lot of things coming through. Because I never even finished talking about the law of compensation because I was going to go somewhere else with it as well, but I'm going to let it go. But what are we supposed to do? What is a person like myself supposed to do? All I keep seeing is this lot. A lot. Like there are acres and acres and acres and acres of land. All, let's see, so many acres of land. And so the acres of land represents this world. And I am on a portion of one of those acres. I've only got exposure. I don't even have a whole acre. I don't even have a whole acre on earth. I got like 1/8 of an acre that I'm supposed to take care of, till, and do all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm supposed to put my best foot forward on. That's where I'm supposed to, you know, work in the highest level of integrity, doing whatever I do in that, on that 1/8 of an acre. Some folks may own 10 full acres. And so they're responsible for cultivating those 10 full acres. If everybody handles their acres, I'll say this is example, their acres that they're allotted here on earth, overall, humanity will be okay. But we gotta handle our own acres. It's no matter how small. Like I said, my acre is only 1/8 of an acre that I'm responsible for. And I'm supposed to use my social role, which is a mother, possibly a teacher, to move forward in all integrity in order to do what mothers do or caregivers do, as well as to do what teachers do. That's what I'm supposed to do. And if everybody did that, if we stayed in sync with the fabric of life, we would have a utopia upon this earth. But since everybody don't understand that they over their own acre or portion of acre, what we supposed to do? If I'm sitting over here, if I'm sitting over here on my acre doing what I'm supposed to do, and it's 100 acres across the way before I see anybody else doing what they supposed to do, how can we change the world for the better? It's impossible. More of us got to do better. And I'm saying that because whatever role you are playing, you are significant. You are significant to our reality, what it is now and what it will be. You are significant in the social constructs that we develop. You're significant. You are important too. A lot of people, I think, don't think they're important. That's another thing I've been picking up. You don't think you're important because you don't have a big following or big this or you're not acknowledged and or appreciated, but you are important too. And the reason why people don't think they're important or that their works don't matter is because going back to what I was talking about earlier about how our social construct has manipulated our thinking, and our thinking surrounds praising, worshiping, compensating those that fit with the socially accepted social norm, etc., etc. If a person doesn't fit into those brackets, they don't feel valued because they're not shown their value, or they're six of wands. They are not shown appreciation and acknowledgement for their presence, works, and abilities. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another thing that shows the future of humanity. I hate to be a negative Nancy. I'm Nancy. My name is Nancy. A negative Nancy. But that's what seems to be the case. Seems to be the case. And the only way we can get out of this is to have that breakthrough relative to the existential crisis themes without breaking. And the only way you won't break from them, psychological break, is to realize you bigger than your physical body. You are spirit. You are consciousness. Because these themes are bigger than the physical vessel. They're much bigger than a physical vessel. The vessel has a hard time containing things that bring us to the existential crisis moments. They're bigger. And I talked about Michael Jackson doing 11/11, I think last year, because he was one of those entities manifested in the physical that I believe his vessel had to do battle in order to stay within his vessel for the time period that he did. I think the spirit that was in him that, everybody loved and was fanatic about was so intense that, his body could only contain him so long, And most of us is not even on the level of Michael Jackson. I bring Michael Jackson up to say, hey, the spirit that he was dealing with was so enormous, so big that his body could barely hold it. Most of us ain't on that level. So I'm saying us in our basic bodies where we are, not on the Michael Jackson level, we can handle dealing with them crises and still contain ourselves without cracking and going crazy. It's evident in the super mega pop stars that we see. It's possible for us to do it. They did it and survived for X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And if they can do it, doing what all they dealt with, and was able to hold out to the age of 50 and stuff, then we, everyday, mundane folks, can deal with those existential crises and survive and still be in our right mind. Does that make sense to y'all? I'm dealing with stuff that's spiritual, y'all. I'm going to let y'all go because now I'm just going to be rambling because now I got a lot on my mind. And don't forget Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. People, when we talk about people that literally master their physical vessel, but they master it from a spiritual place. They master the spirit first, and they one with the spirit first, and then it manifests in a physical body and vessel. That's extraordinary. That is so extraordinary. I could just, people out here, I've actually seen people just respond to, like you say, Bruce Lee, Michael Jackson, these extreme people. They were just extreme. The spirit on was extreme. It was, I don't know what's the word. It took people to what? Especially Mike, it was existential crisis. It took people there. People fainting and falling all out and breath being taken and all kind of stuff, that's deep. But that just shows our potential in this physical body. And we are not living up to our potential. And right now, we're supposed to hit platinum, like Mike, or Bruce Lee, black belt, whatever's above that, a gold. We're supposed to do that now for the survival of humanity. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to hit that level of spiritual mastery manifested in the physical, hitting that existential crisis while in our physical vessel, coming out able-bodied, strong man. Why? For the purpose of the continuous existence of humanity, life, and the evolvement of our spirit. And so again, that's why it's so complicated for me to talk about, because I'm not at this level. I'm not just talking about physicality. We talk about that every day, all day long. We live that. We know what it is. We know what getting high about. We know what going to work about. We know what being in love about. We know what heartbreak about and everything else. We know that. But we don't understand the part of physicality. We don't know why we in physicality. I'll say that. We don't know that. And that's the point we at. Understanding why we in physicality. That's the part we at. And it's also really seeing in the spirit. Seeing ourselves without the shell. You know what I'm saying? Seeing each other without the shell. Understanding how we are creators, co-creators. How there's multiple beings at the same time at work here. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to even articulate some things I read in the Bible about God, wiping man off the face of the earth and how we created the hand of God, And so I'm talking about more ethereal or things that aren't tangible, or really even from like this dimension. We're calling things into existence. When I say, y'all, we at this pinnacle again of magic or mastery. Imagine having a magic power that's so powerful that it can be a blessing or it can be destructive. But you don't know you got it. You don't know you got it. That's dangerous. And that's the place we are now. And it seems like existence is allowing us the opportunity to be able to wake up to see that we hold some magical power, and just how, I don't know, dangerous it potentially it is, or how beneficial it can be, but it's ultimately really dangerous. And it's saying, hey, you need to see this. You kind of mess, you're messing around or you're using something and you don't even know you're using it, and you're going to be affected by it. And so all of that is just really hard to see. I'm going to try. I do good when I'm kind of overwhelmed with information, doing some artwork to help me to compartmentalize it. So I might have to do some artwork, to which I've been trying to do ever since life came to me and showed me its cycle and time. I've been trying to figure out how to do it in artwork in order to be able to see. I even tried to create something for, to show y'all, but it didn't work. I don't have the right resources for it, so I just gotta wait. It's a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, y'all, I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I've been on here 2 hours and 25 minutes. I greatly appreciate y'all again, presence and participation. I love y'all. Without y'all, I'd be doing what? Sitting here talking to myself. But no more, no more, no more. Thank you again for coming here to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more, and allowing me to talk about more things like what life, the fabric of life, our reality, etc., etc. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, just contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And if you're ever interested in supporting me, my channel, and the growth of my channel, you can do so by donating to my Cash App Me link, which is $Can Angels Fly Tarot. And if that is not an option for you, you can always just send me an email and say, Nancy, send me an invoice from PayPal at XYZ amount, and I will do that. Every little bit helps. Thank you. This is a curse, y'all. Good night.